Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Combat Sports UK YouTube channel. Tonight I'm joined by Shah Kamali, who's finally got another opponent for his fight at Levels 11, February 18th. It is Gilberto da Silva, we hope. How are you, Shah? How have things been, mate?
I've been good. Just running around trying to get new opponents on short notice. So just been dealing with that, but nothing really changes. Still training the same. You know, still. Even when I didn't have an opponent, I was still training the same, preparing for the February 18th. So just all been good, really.
Yeah, I mean, fair credit to Levels as well. You know, they've kept you on this card. You're obviously very important to them in terms of having you on the card. How much of a support have they been as a promotion in, getting you these opponents?
Massive support. I got to thank Donovan because as soon as we got the news that fighters pulled out, they've been on it straight away. So they were sending me opponents. I've just been accepting, and you know, two pullouts in a row. It's not. Usually they would stop trying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Usually there's more hassle than it's worth to just try and run about and get someone on late notice. But I thank them a lot for keeping me on the card. It's very important, you know, for me to move my career forward, and obviously being signed to them as a promotion, I want to help them as well. You know, pay back the hard work they've been putting in.
Yeah, exactly. And as you know, those of you will have seen our first interview together, but for those of you that don't know, Shah made his pro debut back in October with a pretty impressive first round knockout. So, like you said, it's really important to get the fight underway. And just how much are you looking forward to getting back in there? And what is it now? Just 10 days time, right?
Yeah, I think 11 days. Yeah, 11 days. I can't wait. You know, camp's gone pretty smooth. I just can't wait, you know. So obviously my teammate is fighting on the card as well as main event, Mario. So I'm excited for that. Like I'm just excited for the whole day, really. Like it's gonna be good. Can't wait.
Yeah, it'll just be great as well for you. Obviously, you've had everything going on with Stuart as well, which we'll chat about in a sec. But has it been, at any point did you kind of think, maybe it might not come together and I'll have to wait for the next card? Was it frustrating over the last, what has it been, a week or so that all these opponents have dropped out?
Yeah, it was. I'll be honest. I'm not really good at deal. I've not really had pull-outs before.
Mm-hmm.
I've had an event fall through on the day before, but I've not really dealt with fighters pulling out. So it's a strange feeling, and but you know what? I just think these are the moments where you get to experience and see your mental resolve, really. So it's all. I just welcome the experience, take it in its stride, and I realize, you know, what really is there to stress about? There's not really much to stress about. I mean, I think the expectation of fighting and not having a fight on is it's the ups and downs of it all that kind of play on your mental. But there's no rush. There's no rush. So I'm just grateful that I get to fight because I always want to stay active. I've stayed active throughout my whole amateur career, and I want to stay active as a pro. So that's the main thing, really. I just want to stay active.
Yeah, staying active and getting out there. So what have you kind of been putting your work in? Obviously, we talked about, October was your last fight. What have you guys kind of down there in London been putting the work in? What have you been looking at specifically? What have you kind of been rounding out?
Mainly, we've been working a lot more grappling kind of stuff. Just like, yeah, we have been just doing a lot more grappling, and we have been obviously focusing on our striking, but that's more separate with our striking coach. But we've just been doing a lot more grappling, really, especially, you know, since Mario's opponent is a wrestler, we've just been working a lot on that, and you can see from Stuart's last fight, he was doing a lot more grappling as well. So as a team, we've just been doing a lot more in the grappling side.
Yeah, and you guys are always getting the work, and you can always see from your social medias, all three of you are all kind of getting the work in on each other. It's a tough one, this with Gilberto da Silva. I mean, when I went to kind of look and do a bit of research during my lunch break today, I found very little. So I don't know, like from your perspective, when it is changing that much, have you seen or heard much about him? Like, or does that just not matter to you?
You know what? I know as much as you do. As much as you can find, that's as much as I can find as well. But it just reminds me back to like um days when I guess you're competing and you don't know who you're competing against, so you just have to be ready for everything.
Hmm.
I think that's why you have to be adaptable. Um, it's quite it's quite turbulent thinking about a different opponent, a different style. For example, my first opponent, he was tall, so I was sparring with a lot more taller guys, worrying about the range. And then I'm versing like a wrestler who's
Hmm.
obviously got to worry about like brawling and wrestling, like he's gonna brawl and wrestle. And then I got now this guy. So it's kind of like I prepared for like three different types in like such a short period of time. But then I realized, I spar with all different types of bodies. So
Hmm.
I'm ready for anything anyways. It's not too much to deal with, it's nothing that I haven't seen before, you know.
Yeah, yeah, totally. When you're at that when you're sparring with people of that kind of level, it must give you a lot of confidence going into the fight. Anyway, I mean, literally the only thing I think I could find about Gilberto da Silva was from the image that he's just got a huge neck, and that's pretty much it, right? So you look at
Yeah.
it from a wrestling perspective. He's Brazilian as well, I guess. I mean, yeah, how much confidence does that bring you, knowing that? Yeah, I mean, I spar with all these bodies anyway, so whatever he brings, I can deal with it.
100%. And I've been training in camp for a while now, so my gas tank is just like on point. I've been training since my last fight, really. I mean, I never
Mm.
take breaks, so
Hmm.
I've just been continuously training. So I always have that level of confidence. It's just the last pieces are just game planning and things like that. But if you go into it with an open game plan kind of thing, you just figure it out while you're in there, and that's the experience part of fighting.
Hmm.
You have to just gain the experience while you're in there and come up against these challenges, right?
Yeah, yeah. Before we jump on to some other bits, do you kind of have like a bit of a goal? Like, do you say, okay, I want to go for a finish in this round, no matter like what are you setting on your sights for this fight?
Uh, us as always, I'm a as my record suggests, first round finishes 7 in a row. Let's look to make it 8.
Yeah,
No playing about.
yeah. Let's go. No playing about. I mean, it would be seriously ironic if you got this amount of dropouts and then first minute of the first round, bang, it's done anyway. So it doesn't really matter. Let's chat a little bit. We'll stick with levels for now. Let's chat a little bit about Mario's fight. I mean, he's obviously top in the card. His I guess first title defense after winning the Grand Prix on that same card back in October. How's he looking? How do you see that fight going?
We've been yeah, we've been having the game plan ready since that fight got signed.
Hmm.
I think yeah, he's looking sharp. Everyone's looking sharp in training. I mean, you can see it from like Stu's performance. Like we've all been helping each other get to that level where we're just firing off and focus. The focus is incredible right now. I think Kasim is a very he's a vet, right? He's a vet. He's been about for a while. So you can't write these guys off. They have a lot of experience, especially he's older. He's a shorter opponent, which is always tricky because these guys they're like balls. Like they're just so compact. It's hard to kind of find gaps like that. It's
Mm.
tricky. But we have sparring partners that can replicate that. I'm just excited. I think it's going to be a great fight. Mario's going to get his hand raised at the end, and yeah, we're just on to the next one. I think this year is going to be a big one for him, and yeah, so we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's going to be a big one for all three of you. So talking about the big one in the room, Stuart Austin. I mean, you were up there in Newcastle. I saw the beard before I saw the person kind of on the walkout, and I was like, oh, that's Shah over there. He's cornering him. So how was that experience? Talk us through kind of your feelings of Octagon as a whole, and then Stuart's performance.
Octagon. I think they're trying to expand in the UK market, but it's I think the UK market's a bit tricky to crack. But they're doing well by signing the local guys, and as a promotion, they run things pretty well. They run things really well. I was out there in Slovakia when they had the show on there,
Mhm.
and they sell out in Europe quite easily. It's a bit more difficult over on these sides. I understand why. There's not really too much of a fighting culture like that, especially MMA. More boxing in the UK, right?
Mhm.
I think. Yeah, I think they're doing well. I heard that they're gonna have a show in end of the year in London sometime, so maybe I could get on that, you know. I could
Ooh.
definitely tickets and fight for them. So yeah, it's interesting. And Stu's performance, I think he's been drilling we've been drilling elbows for a while now.
Yeah.
And yeah, so even in like we have light sparring days, so we've just been shadowing them and he just came together really like perfectly. Can't really say too like much more. I think the referee should have stopped it a lot earlier, just because he got knocked out like twice in that little
Yeah.
30-second flurry. Um, but yeah, he's number one ranked in Octagon now. His next fight is a title shot. It should be happening sometime in the next few months, and just starting strong. I think it's good for Stuart because he's broken a generational curse. If you see his record, he goes wins two. He goes into he loses two, wins two, and
Mhm.
now he's broken that curse. He's won three in a row now. So yeah, so let's see if we can make that four in a row now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. Well, it was a great performance. I love how you said you were drilling elbows on light sparring days. You throw elbows on light sparring days. What you do on the hard one? Jesus. It was a great performance for him, man. Yeah, and I hope. The rumor is that it's going to be over here in Germany, in Stuttgart, quite near to where I'm based. It'd be cool to be down there and witness that in person. Like you said, they do fill out the arenas over here in Europe. And from your perspective, do you learn a lot being in the corner and being on that other side of the fence, so to speak? Like, are you able to evaluate that and then think, oh, okay, I can see this from a different angle, like for my game?
For me, sometimes I feel like I'm the one fighting. Like as I'm
Okay.
walking out, I get those nerves. I get the same nerves. But then, you kind of just adjust. Seeing it from the outside is hard because you want to make the decisions as a fighter. Of course, I'm not in a full coaching mentality. Um, that's more so Rowan and Marcus's job. The other two
Mm-hmm.
cornermen, they're obviously more coaching based. Obviously I'm giving instruction and whatnot, but it is difficult because you're kind of like you don't want to see your coach get hurt and you don't want to see this and that. But we've been working really hard over the last year, and ever since we've kind of started all of our camps at Fight Zone, um, we've come really far. So there's more trust there now, and you see it in the performances. It's getting better and better and better.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And what the one thing about Stuart as well is he looked shredded. Like he looked in really good shape, especially compared to when he made his Octagon debut. I thought he looked incredible, both physically and in the cage as well. So, I mean, when I spoke to him, we were kind of talking about his aspirations, how he sees things moving forward. One thing he said was, "It's not going to be the guys in the Octagon that retire me. It's going to be the guys that I train with." So between you and Mario, have you got a little side bet about which one of you two is gonna be the one to make him call it a day?
Mario is definitely ahead in that sense because he's on the cusp, but I like the fact that Stu's putting more energy into us, but at the same time we try and pay it back, because
Yeah.
he's still got a lot. He doesn't know it, but he got a long. He can go on for a lot longer than he thinks he can. You know.
Yeah, yeah, and if he picks up that belt, then hopefully Opticon will repay that as well. So, just kind of final one to wrap up. Like, what are your aspirations for 2024? Obviously, get this fight done well. I mean, the first thing's got the opponent's got to turn up, right? With this kamikaze that's kind of been going on. But then beyond that, you mentioned that may possibility of a London card with Octagon. I mean, what are you looking to get out of this year?
Personally, of course, job at hand. Get that over and done with. Get another finish, hopefully, and then I want to stay active. So I'm looking. I don't know, fighting before the summer, I guess. I'm not sure. It's February right now, so if I can get
Mhm.
one in maybe May, I'll look for that at May, and then let's see if I can get two or three more. I'll be happy. And by the end of the year, it just sets me up for 2025, and then we can start thinking about, plans for big organizations and whatnot.
Mhm.
It's all about just getting experience first, and mainly staying healthy, just because, training for pro you have to be way more dedicated, and sometimes my body's feeling it.
Mhm.
So I need to just either, prioritize recovery and just make sure that I'm healthy, just because that's the most important thing. If you're fighting at 50%, it's just your career's not gonna take off the way you want it to. So it's a balance, really.
Mhm.
But taking it one step at a time for sure.
Yeah, and I think avoiding elbows on light sparring days might be
We're
a good way to go, especially the way
not,
Stewart's.
we're not actually landing them. We're not actually landing them.
Especially the way Stewart's throwing it, you never know. Because to be fair, with the replay on that one, it looked like he really kind of grazed him, right? It didn't actually look like a properly
Yeah.
clean man, but that was phenomenal stuff. So listen, mate, it's a pleasure as always. I mean, do you have any shout outs, any sponsors or anything like that you want to make note of just before we finish up?
Just shout out to my team and my coaches and whatnot, my training partners, everyone at Fight Zone, Stuart, Rowan, Marcus, Mario, all of the guys, helping us get better and showing up for us.
Awesome, awesome. So that's Shah Kamali back on the show. Check out his first interview. We go into a lot more depth about your background and about your amateur career and your first couple of fights over in levels. So check that out. Check this one out before February 18th, which will be levels 11, where you're going up against Gilberto. I was going to say Gilberto Silva, the old Arsenal player there. Gilberto da Silva. It'll be a hell of a fight card. Mario's on there as well. I think you can go to the website to get the pay-per-view. It'll be a hell of a fight card. It's on a Sunday as well, which is pretty cool. I think it is a Sunday, isn't it? The
Yeah,
18th.
it's Sunday, yeah.
European time as it's in Amsterdam, so perfect for a bit of Sunday roast if you're out there. Get involved, get watching the lads. Shah, thank you so much for your time, mate. I really appreciate it.
Cheers. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you for having me.